Doo-doo. Hello, everyone. Here we are again for another Mavens Do It Better podcast where we interview extraordinary experts who bring a light to our world. And I could not be more excited today to have on a new friend, Shelly Pieken. Hello, Shelly.
Hi, Heather.
Hello. Where
fellow
are you?
Maven.
Yes, fellow Maven for sure. Where are you? Look at all those records behind you.
Yeah. And
Where are
there's
you?
more over there.
There's more over there. Wonderful. Where are you coming to us today from?
I'm in Laurel Canyon.
Okay.
The infamous, is it infamous?
Yeah.
Laurel Canyon.
Yeah.
A lot of history here.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. Yeah. And I'm coming to you today from my place here in Marina Del Rey in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
Both in LA and La La Land. So
Yeah.
So everyone, Shelly and I met, about a month ago over the holidays, and we got to talking, and I was like, wow. And she's a Grammy-winning songwriter, and she is an artist, and she's an advocate for music. And she's coming out, we'll talk about a lot of this, but you're coming out with an album. She's a best-selling Grammy-nominated author for her book, which Confessions of a Serial Songwriter. And so we got talking. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And so
you have to be on my show.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so let's see. So I was listening this morning. I was sort of doing my homework and all of that, and I was listening and reading your blog article about what a girl wants. And I love Christina Aguilera, and I watched the video and listen, and then I turned the video off and I just listened for a minute, and I was like, wow, what a song, and what a place of love, like that song is just so full of like, thank you for giving me what I need. And I just struck me today for many reasons, but
yeah, thank you.
Should we start there? Because we got to unpack a lot. So
sure. I'm ready. Go.
Absolutely. So can you talk about that experience? I mean, you've let's start. When did you start songwriting? And then we'll jump into that.
It was never specifically a decision.
Yeah.
I was just doing it when I was a kid. I'd hear music,
sure.
And if the music didn't have lyrics, then words would occur to me.
Right.
It was pretty organic, but I did not go to college for that.
Okay.
And there weren't a lot of college curriculum back then for songwriting. In fact, there just wasn't. I think that YouTube and online sharing has just made it more of a desired major at college,
right.
And technology has made it possible for more people to do. So I went to college for something else, but when I graduated, the music that I had always loved writing as a hobby really stayed with me. And I came to New York, and I was looking for a job in the garment district because I had majored in design and marketing and fashion.
Gotcha.
And while I was looking for a job, I came upon in an ad in a newspaper, something for some kind of songwriting workshop that met every week. And I thought, now that seems interesting.
Right.
And I went, and I just thought, oh my God, I am not the only person. I thought every song I heard on the radio was written by whoever sang it.
Sure.
And that was far from the case. Wow. So I met all these other songwriters that that shared my affliction and my obsession, and started coming every Tuesday and getting into the culture. And finally, I just said, this is really what I want to do. I know I majored in something else, but that's okay. I mean, college gives you an education in many things. Yep. Especially in just being independent, and I didn't learn anything I could not apply in other areas, and I just went down that road.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a theater major, and I work in tech, so like I get it. It's like
but it's still very valuable to have an education.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exposed to so many things.
Yeah, and New York too. I love that city. It's such a good that energy of that place. There's nothing like it.
Yes, there's nothing like it.
That's so cool. And so do you do most of your own songwriting? But I'm sure you have lots of partners in this. I mean, there's lots of people involved. And so maybe cutting to, you've we could just list off so many songs that you've written and written for other people that have become
Right.
hits. And
Right.
that Christina Aguilera song, will you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. You know, when you say so many others, I call it my handful of hits.
Okay.
There's about 5 of them that people would know that keep me afloat. That said, I've written thousands.
Sure.
And I've had hundreds of songs recorded.
Okay.
But 5 hits, which
Okay.
I have to say, you know, when you go to the airport and you're in line,
Yeah.
and you see all these people in front of you, and you go, "Oh my God, it's going to take so long." And what makes you feel better is you'll look at the people in back of you, and that line might be longer. So
Right.
I think, you know, there are people out there that have a hit every week.
Sure.
I have 5, but when I look elsewhere, there are people that never had one. So I feel
Right.
extremely fortunate, and I'm very grateful. What a Girl Wants, I think that was the right song at the right place
Yeah.
at the right time. And I'm not taking anything away from it, but to get a song to be a hit like that, I think any song needs to be the right song, the right place, the right time, the right artist, the right promotion, and just
Right.
all the stars colliding.
Right.
And then if it's a good song too, it stands a shot, you
Yeah.
know. So the odds of something happening, if you don't have, like, for the first time, somebody who has hit after hit after hit, who's a well-known producer, could throw something else out there with an artist
Right.
that has momentum and have a better shot at having that song be a hit just because of all the momentum. But for me as a first time writer to have, well, actually that wasn't my first hit, it was my first number 1. But
Okay.
for songs to come out, and when you don't have a lot of history behind you, you're just some songwriter that
Yeah.
I wasn't producing.
Right.
I thought that song was in a very, the stars collided. I was going to
Yeah.
say collid, but that's not a past tense word at all.
Collide.
Collid.
Potato.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I was reading your blog article about the
The
song.
one today, that takes a village to make a record.
Yeah. I was reading about that, and it's so exciting. So, you know, will you talk about the album you're creating?
Sure.
So yeah, that's so exciting. So talk
Yeah,
about that.
it really is.
Yeah.
So, you know, many, many years ago, when I came to New York, I thought, I want to be an artist. I went to Bleecker Street. I was seeing everybody walking around with guitars, you know, on their back, and everyone was trying to make it. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a band together, and I'm going to make a record just like that, you know, but it's not so easy. Then other artists started recording my songs, and I thought, well, this is a viable road. I was living in New York City. I loved living in New York City. If I got a record deal, which I didn't, but had I gotten a record deal, I would have had to promote and tour and travel. And I loved living in the city and coming home every night to my own bed and my own cat. So I went down that road. More and more people wanted to record my songs, and that was just fine. And I enjoyed it. This was a time when physical copies of albums were selling, so you didn't have to write a big fat radio hit in order to make a decent living as a songwriter. Because for every album, every physical copy that sold, you got 8 cents if you wrote and published that whole song. So if 1 million copies sold, you can do the math. 80 grand and then 2 million copies. You made a decent living. You could survive. And I did this since the late 80s. You know? And it's been great. And a few years ago, I started to see how the digital economy changed our sustainability as songwriters. It was just really hard. And technology had made the field so much more competitive. Where once in New York City, when I lived there were 50 songwriters. Now there's 50,000 because you can program stuff. And so I started feeling, you know, differently and wondering, you know, is it because I'm older? Am I being pushed out? Is it because it's easier to get in there when you're just starting out because you're not people don't think, oh, she's been around for a while. I started writing about these feelings.
Yeah.
And that turned into Confessions of a Serial Songwriter. I wish I had one up here to hold, but you've got one.
Yeah.
And that got published. And then I narrated it, and that got nominated for a Grammy, which was extremely cathartic and rewarding and satisfying. And I toured with that book. I did this like 1 hour show where I talk about the stories in it and I sing the songs. And then I thought, what's next?
Right.
Because I'm a Maven who just can't slow down.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to retire.
Yep.
So I thought, you know, a couple of people had said, you know, you never made a record. You never made a record. Like, yeah. You know, records are for 23-year-old starlet divas who are like this, and they're young, and they're.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what? Can I use expletives on your podcast?
Yes, you can.
I said, fuck it. You know, you don't need to have a label anymore. You could sign yourself in this kind of economy. And who's gonna, I don't care. I just didn't care. There's something that people don't tell you. They're so scared of getting older. And then when you get older, there's a secret. And that is, there's certain things you become a lot more comfortable with. It's who you are. You become comfortable in your skin, your collagen challenged skin. You are more comfortable in it. And I just said, what the hell? I found a couple of friends that were producers that were like, yes, right on, sister, let's go. I'm with you. And we started going down that road. The Eve Nelson is the producer who did the most songs that I spent the most time with. There was Wally Gagel, who's here in LA, and also Phil Thornelli in London. Wonderful. But I spent the most time with Eve, and we just kept taking it song by song, and we were really inspired, and it felt good. And we're coming out with What a Girl Wants this week. I don't want to be dated by the time the podcast comes out. It might be
coming soon.
Before, but
it's
going to be out there. And we just, I'm calling the album, the album will be out after the summer or during the summer. It's called 2.0, etc., where I'm taking my handful of hits and reapproaching them all in their own way. I'm doing Bitch, What a Girl Wants, Almost Doesn't Count, which was a Brandy song, Human on the Inside, which was a Pretender song, Who You Are, which was a Jessie J song, and then the etc. is the other half of the record, which will be 5 songs that were never recorded.
Oh, wow.
And I want to share them because I feel like, all things being equal, they might have had a chance at finding a home. And there not been so much competition.
No, understood. That's amazing.
You know? So it's been so much fun. And sometimes I'll see like a young kid and I'll tell them, you know, I'm putting out a record, and they don't blink. I feel like 10 years ago, younger people would have said, really? You are? Aren't you Layla's mother? You know, and nobody flinches now. It doesn't matter how old you are, or you could just, if you really feel it, if you believe in yourself, that is contagious. And people believe in you if you believe in yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I mean, I think that you're right about age. I feel that completely, you know, like, I'm like, you know what? I'm at an age now where I'm like, I know what I want. I know what I want to go after. And, you know, the imposter syndrome. Yeah. The imposter syndrome is like, you know what? No, I know who I am and what I bring to the world. So let's do this, you know?
Right.
And that's really exciting. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, the 99-cent song with iPod, you know, changed the world. Right. And
the free.
Yeah. And then the free. And the
free came first.
Yeah, free, and then
came first. 99 cents was actually like better than the free, right? But now there's not even 99. It's you know, all that's fading away. It's going to be all streaming soon, even in your car. You have to stream a song 1 million times in order for the whole copyright to earn $5,000, and that gets split between the master owner, which gets 90% of that. So let's say $600 is left over for the writer and the publisher for a song after it's streamed 1 million times. That's
Wow.
how bad the digital economy is
Mm-hmm.
for songwriters. Digital streaming isn't bad for songwriters as far as being able to access new music and find new music and enjoy a plethora of new music. It's just the economics of it for songwriters.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was looking, on your website, which we'll put in the show notes, of course.
Thank you.
It's cool to like I started this podcast over a year ago, and I played around with equipment for 9 months before that. And so like my first recordings of the podcast, are a little like, I'm figuring it out, and I have a handheld, and I was appreciating the article that the blog post that you wrote about like learning about all of this stuff and, what works and what doesn't, and using producers. And I love how you can pre-save what a girl wants, and and then that you have just want to be your girl, and I was like, oh, I can go pre-save that on Spotify. I love Spotify, I use it all the time, I'm a big fan. And so I went and did the little clicks and pre-saved it, and I was like, that's so cool, I didn't know you could do that, and so I think, and you talk about the process of just sort of getting in there, and I keep doing this, but it's like really learning all of that new stuff, that not a non-digital native, I mean, you're paper, right, and guitar, and and then getting to stuff.
I'll tell you what, sometimes I get in the studio and I say to myself, thank God I'm here. I spent 6 hours today on my computer doing what I have to do to be able to make this music. To be able to pick up my guitar and make this music. If you don't do the preliminary marketing stuff, the music is just going to sit in your head, or it's not going to get to people, which is why, we met through a common friend, Kristen Jewell, because I knew going into this that there was no way I would be able to enter all my metadata, which is everybody that worked on on each song, who the publishers were, who played on it, and then make sure the song splits are exactly right, because what's going to happen now with this Music Modernization Act passing and the Music Licensing Collective starting is that all of this data between all of the writers and publishers on one song has to match.
Oh, wow.
If one writer reports that the song is 50-50 and the other writer says, no, it's 40-10, no one gets paid.
Oh, wow.
No one gets paid until everything matches. So to be meticulous about making sure all of that information is complete and accurate. I'm a lefty. I am right-brained. I am creative. I can't read a manual. I can't read a recipe. By the time I go to your spice drawer and get thyme and rosemary, by the time I go over to my spices, I have forgotten what I'm supposed to get. And it's not an age thing. It's having so much goddamn metadata in my brain, multitasking. My computer hard drive is too full. So I met Kristen Jewell from Jewell Concepts through Hamish Anderson's song that I heard on KCRW, which I loved. And then I started sort of fangirling him, and I went to a gig and I saw how great she was looking after him. And when I decided to do this, I said, could you help me with my project? Because I knew these were things I would not be able to complete myself. And she is just, look, if I did this every day and didn't write songs, I'd be good at it too. But this is what she does. So I couldn't have done it without her. And what I was writing about in that piece is that much younger artists who grew up in a digital world can do this with their eyes closed. And they don't need a Kristen as much as I do. And I'm so glad she was there. So it's entering that, it's the social media, they're guiding me. Post this as a story, swipe up. Like, what's a swipe up? What's a hyperlink? There's all the ingesting it into the distributor. Who's the distributor? Is that Spotify? No, they're the platform. The distributor is the creator. It's it's just overwhelming.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, these are all things that record labels used to do for you if you were signed to one.
Sure.
So the pro is, if you don't need one, you can be your own label and you own your master, but you've got to do all this work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
thank goodness for Kristen.
Thank God.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
She's lovely, and shout out. It was great meeting her that night too, and shout out to Casey.
Oh, you met her that night.
Yeah.
Oh, with her.
No, I met all of you for the first time, and through Casey. Thank you, Casey, and and all the ladies that were there, and everybody.
All the Mavens.
Oh, the Mavens. It was a great fun night. Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, as someone who is a marketer and, works with people about all of this stuff, it's like, and even I think some of the digital, what I would say a digital native, it's just, there's so much and so many avenues and swim lanes that you can go down that, it's, should I use Instagram? Should I use TikTok? Should I use this? Should I use that? Or where should it go? And that's just social media, not even overlaying all the things one would do to put an album out into the world that you have.
And while you're doing all that, you're not practicing your craft.
Right.
You're not writing your next song.
Yep.
It's exhausting.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just honestly wish, Heather, that that social media didn't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, I use it, and there's a part of it I really enjoy.
Yeah.
If you want to market something, like with my book, I could never have found an audience for that book had it not been for Facebook. More Facebook than Instagram, because for me it was, I just felt it a very useful tool to find an audience. So I appreciate that. But all the different notifications and places to get messages, it sucked so much human connection out of life. And it's habit forming.
Yeah.
It's like my phone is almost like a muscle memory. If I don't wear it, like where is it now? Oh, here, okay, I feel better. I read that Steve Jobs book and I thought, so brilliant.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just feel like it was the worst thing that ever happened to culture. It's just, we're moving so fast. We can't possibly have quality relationships with all the people we say we're going to meet for lunch and coffee.
Yeah.
We overpromise getting together, and we're missing that. I don't know. It's sort of like quantity over quality.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I think about this a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I think there's an interesting sort of phenomenon that's happening with the younger people in my life, and I see them. There's like, I've always handwritten letters and had pen pals with my grandparents and stuff like that. And I'm finding that that's something that's fun, of like actually writing a letter, and it takes time, and you have to find a stamp, and you have to know somebody's address, and people are going, and they're going back and they're getting, like these things,
It's like a vibe, vinyl.
Well, oh yeah, like one of these, and there's a throwback, I guess, or that people are actually, I think, going back to that, but that's a few and far between thing. I think that
it's a novelty.
It's a novelty a little bit.
They're not giving up their Spotify.
No.
Here's something, once in a while I will write a handwritten note as well.
Yeah.
I can hardly write.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I pick up the pen, and after 2 lines, it's like, oh my God, my penmanship is awful. The lines are slanted because we've lost the muscle that we used to write something with our hand.
Absolutely. And they stopped teaching cursive for the most part too. So like the beautiful swoopy letters that we all learned,
What's happening to the world?
I know.
I got to tell you, I so often, my song Bitch, which started out with I hate the world today.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I am a happy person. I have a lot of zhuzh, our word for the day. but there's not a day that goes by that I don't think to myself, I hate the world today.
Yeah.
Like somebody's greedy, or somebody can't get customer satisfaction in the store, or somebody runs a red light and gives me the finger. It's like, I hate the world today.
Yeah.
And I don't. I love the world, but there are
Yeah.
these moments. Why did I say that? Because what did we say before? I can't even remember.
Oh, we were
because the handwriting, it's already gone.
Yeah. Well, it's just about the handwriting and taking time, I think, for people and things. And yeah, I think that song is so interesting because it's like controversial on so many levels, and in the word bitch itself, and then also I hate the world today, and it's such an anthem and a roar. And I think, I agree with you though. I mean, I think, I know you're a happy, joyous person. I mean, I got that when I met you, but I channel my anger about, things that I see, inequities and all of that stuff. And you do the same thing. You channel it into your creativity, and I have to do that as well, because it's like, where else is it going to go? Stress, which leads to sickness and disease. And you don't want that.
Mine comes out in my songs.
Right.
And when I say I hate the world today, it's a moment.
Yeah.
It's not for the rest of the day. That's the day. It's like, I hate the world this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I was reading your blog article about that song too, and about the point where there was a congressperson that wanted to have the word bitch taken out.
Oh, yeah. It was in Massachusetts, I think.
Yeah.
He wanted to outlaw the word. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What about, there's so many words that are worse. It was just crazy.
Yeah, that's, and I mean, it's one of those words that it's like, it is all the things. It's empowering. It can be, it's context, right? It's how you use it,
And I could call myself one, but don't you call me one.
Exactly.
Unless it's a term of endearment.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like watching the, the Super Bowl halftime show with Shakira and J-Lo. It was like
amazing, right?
Wonderful and amazing. But the clap back of, their outfits, and it was this. And I was just like, Adam Levine stood shirtless and nobody blinked an eye about that. It's interesting the differences, right?
Can I just say,
yeah,
compared to the outfits on the Grammys, Shakira and J-Lo were covered way more. My tweet the day after the Grammys was, and whoever's listening to this, they could think I'm old and not with it, but I said, kudos to Billie Eilish for winning all that shit without a garter belt and a push-up bra.
Yeah.
It was like a brothel. Now, and I'm going to catch a lot of hate for this. I don't think of women as a victim. I don't think women are asking for it when they are harassed. But we are asking not to be objectified.
Yeah.
And we're if you dress like that, what do you expect men to want? They shouldn't attack you. They shouldn't put their hands on you.
Right.
But what do you think is going to be on their minds?
Yeah.
These women are objectifying themselves. They have beautiful, amazing voices. They have wonderful messages. Look at Camila Cabello.
Yeah.
Just what's wrong with just singing the song? You can wear something sexy without needing to look like a hooker.
Yeah.
There. I hate the world today. No, I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I think that it's a fine line, and it's, and it's a hot, it's a hot topic, but hot topic, but it is a hot topic, and we're in the throes in the middle of all of that with all the movements that are happening, and working on inclusion and diversity, and working on, gender pay gaps and all of those things, and sexual trafficking and all of it, and it's like, I think there's a big onion that's open, and we're all trying to figure it out together. Well, and you have to be smart in the world too about how you present yourself, and the image and brand, are really important, and it's like, what are you conveying about who you are and what you want to say? Does your message stand alongside how you present yourself?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think it's important for sure.
I think it's so exciting what's going on now, all this disruption and all this eruption. And I think, we're living in the last 4 years has been incredibly divisive. And I think the silver lining to it all is that all of this has come up.
Yep.
And I'm not sure there'd be as many of these conversations if we weren't in the position of being so divided about our president. So I don't want to thank him for that. I think it's a result of him being there.
Yeah.
And if I can draw anything positive, but other people would think there's a lot more positivity going on. But for me, I feel that we are discussing all of this is good. It's going to, I've had to look inside myself and say, gee, I know I'm not a racist, but do I have bias?
Yeah.
Do I?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, let me think about when I see somebody of color. Does it enter my mind, oh, this is a person of color?
Right.
Even without judgment, am I noticing that?
Right.
Am I not supposed to notice that? And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think we all need to ask ourselves these very difficult questions. I mean, that actually isn't so difficult for me. I think if I had uglier feelings, like if I really was racist in deep ways, that would be a much harder conversation. But we all have something going on there that could be better.
Absolutely.
And we can't get better until we examine.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, awareness, talking. I just gave a keynote where I talked a lot about unconscious bias and that we all have it. And it's about awareness and talking about it and bringing it to the forefront is how we tackle it in ourselves.
Right.
And we all have it. It just.
And work on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're hardwired. Our brains have taken in a lot of information and made those hard wires. And sometimes those hard wires need a little snip,
Right.
So, yeah, for sure. Wow. I'm so excited, one, to have met you. And then also just to be able to like delve into all of the stuff, your blog, the Shelly site is amazing.
A lot going on.
Blog and all of this stuff. And it's just, thank you for giving us so many beautiful songs.
Thank you for having me, Heather.
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
Really.
I want to ask you about, so where are you from originally? What's your origin?
Long Island.
Long Island. Oh my goodness. Okay. Where in Long Island?
Freeport near Jones Beach.
Oh, okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And when I go back there, I start talking like that.
Yeah.
My daughter goes to me, Mommy, what are you doing? Like, I'm from Long Island.
Yeah, it's awesome. You
know what? I met a woman the other night at a party. She said 2 words to me, and I said, where are you from?
Yeah.
She said, why? And I said, where are you from? You're from Long Island, right? And she goes, yes. And I said, because I can tell a sister like this. It's inflection. It wasn't even so much. It was a little bit the long T.
Yeah.
I'm proud of my roots.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I went to college and I was in a sorority with all these Southern women and I lost that accent really quickly.
Yeah.
But I get it back when I go.
I was like, yeah, when you go home, I know I get my Michigan back when I go home too. So I get it. That's so funny. I love it. And I really enjoy your, I've read pieces of the book and I want to, and actually listen to it. I got it on Audible. I was like, oh, I want to listen to it. So, but I also, the blog posts are great. It's just the descriptions of you with your daughter, breastfeeding, handing off, going to the I mean, it's so lovely. And it's so like, I can see you write so beautifully. You like set the scene and I'm right there with you where you're trying to like be a mom and figure it out and do the whole thing. Yeah. How old is your daughter now?
22.
Oh my goodness. She's a full grown adult. That's amazing.
Yeah. She's given me advice, you know.
Yeah. That's exciting. That's awesome. Well, last question that I always ask everyone, different for everybody. What, person, place, thing, moment can you share with our listeners that really, what's that spark that seats you in who you are and what you're doing today? Is there something or a few things or anything that you're like, that's the one?
A person, like an inspiration?
Yeah, just a moment that you're like, you know what, this person or this happening or a place I was or something you heard or that really kind of stands out that
Gosh,
today. I'm sure there's a million, but I don't know.
I don't know if it's like one person. There was a book that I read that I read again every couple of years. It's a very simple story about a young man following a dream. The book is The Alchemist. You know it?
Yeah.
Have you read it?
I have not read it. No.
Oh, must read this.
Okay.
And it was such an inspiration. It was a story of a young man's journey. And he wanted something so badly, and he went out to pursue it.
Yep.
And as long as he really believed in it, the universe jumped into a current with him and conspired to make it happen.
Wow.
When on the days he woke up that he doubted, the universe pulled back. So the story is saying, as long as you believe in yourself, no matter if you're the size of Ariana Grande or you're the size of Lizzo, if you believe in yourself, people will jump onto your ride with you. And I think I'm interesting. And I think I've had longevity, and I want to keep things interesting for me. And I feel like like I said in my piece, the fastest way to grow old is stop dreaming. So as long as I've got one, I'm going to pursue it. Someday I might say, I'm tired. I need to travel. I've got loads of miles. Bring it. But as long as I'm feeling like I need to record my songs, I need to do that. I need to do this in my own voice. I'm going to do it. So that book was incredibly powerfully spiritual for me. And whenever I'm feeling a little doubt, because believe me, I do doubt. Anybody that doesn't have doubt is probably so arrogant. I don't want to be around anybody that never doubts themselves.
I agree with you. We don't need any narcissists.
No, it's you doubt and then you brush yourself off and you get back. But I think that's the trick, doubting keeps it real, keeps you examining and re-examining. And when I have doubt, it'll be time to read the book again.
Yeah, I love it.
The Alchemist. Yeah,
The Alchemist. Thank you. Yeah, I know I have it in my Audible and Kindle because a friend said, "Have you read this?" And I haven't.
Definitely read it.
I'm gonna get on that. So after I finish your book, of course. So
yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Do it once.
Yeah, exactly. I typically do, so it works that way. But so everyone, Shelly has her album's coming out. The single's gonna drop very soon. It might have dropped after this, but go get it right now as you're listening, and definitely give her a follow. She's on all the social media channels, and her writing is so fun, and just what an exciting time. And
yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
A woman of a certain age must be followed. I need more follows. So on Spotify, on Apple, on Tidal, on your favorite listening platform, like go on there and just figure out how to follow me. That was like hard for me. It's like, how do you follow? I don't know how to do this. Oh my
I love
God.
it. I love it. Well, my
Not
listeners
so
tend to,
intuitive.
yeah, well, our listeners tend to be a little techie too. So,
Yes.
you know, they'll
Good.
probably get right on it. So that is awesome. So, Shelly, thank you so much. What a
Thanks,
delight
Heather.
to
Let's
talk to
have
you
dinner
again.
soon.
Okay. I would love
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Going to New York on the 10th, back the 20th. So
Okay.
March.
All right.
Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. So, yeah. So, our music maven for today, Shelly Pieken.
That's me.
Brilliant. Amazing. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Heather.
Absolutely. Everyone,
Talk to
that
you
has
later.
been, I'll
Yeah.
talk to you later. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Everyone, that has been another episode of the Mavens Do It Better podcast. Here is to a big, beautiful day on this blue spinning sphere. Thanks a lot.